Good morning, everyone. Welcome. We're doing a live chat on Facebook, question and answers about workers' compensation. Here in our conference room at the law firm. Behind me is a painting from a friend of ours, local artist David Spear, whose works are all over Columbia. They're in Addison's restaurants, both Addison's and Sophia's. There's public art that David has done for the City of Columbia, for Boone Hospital, for University Hospital and clinics. This one, there's a glare, of the Boone County Courthouse and the scene behind me. And you can't see because of the glare, but I am in this painting, sorry. All right, I'm gonna have to do justice to David's painting. I am running to file a lawsuit. You might see a person holding a petition as he runs into the courthouse. That's me, and actually some other people you may know are in this painting as well. Okay, sorry about the glare. Let's get started on Q&A. So, workers' comp, a lot of people say they don't want to file for workers' comp when they get hurt at work because they feel bad for their employer or they don't want to sue anybody. A lot of people call and say that's the first thing out of their mouths, I don't want to sue anybody. Workers' comp's not a lawsuit. It's a benefit you're entitled to working in Missouri. Any employer in the state of Missouri with 5 employees or more has to have workers' comp insurance. Anybody in the construction industry, no matter how many employees, 1 or 2, has to have work comp coverage. So your claim is not really against your employer. Your claim is against the workers' comp insurance company. And that's what your employer pays their premiums for, is to protect their workers and get the benefits, work comp, that they're supposed to get by law. So good employers will say, absolutely, I want you to get back to work as soon as you can. If you needed 2 weeks off or 4 weeks off or physical therapy, let's get you back to work as soon as we can. And the best way to do that is reporting your claim right away, filling out the paperwork, getting it turned into their work comp insurance company. A lot of my clients say, I've never needed an employer before. I definitely don't want to file a lawsuit. I've never needed an attorney before. I definitely don't want to file a lawsuit. Work comp claims aren't lawsuits. Again, they're an insurance claim for the benefits that you're supposed to get automatically by law. So they don't end up in court. You don't have a jury trial like you see on TV or even a judge. If they don't get settled, and 90% or more get settled, if they don't, then a special judge, a workers' comp judge that hears work comp claims all the time, would decide, the value or the issues in the work comp claim. So, general stigma, let's debunk this myth that only people that claim work comp are trying to game the system, or just an excuse to get out of work. So first, a lot of my clients say, I don't want to file or claim work comp. That's going to hurt my reputation at work. I'll just take a bunch of over-the-counter pain meds and try to get over this. I don't want my coworkers or my supervisor or my boss thinking I'm just trying to pull one over on them. The problem with that thinking is the longer you wait to report a work injury, the harder it is to get your claim covered, but also your injury might be getting worse, and you might make it worse to where you need surgery or it's worse than it was. So a lot of employers have an internal policy that they say you have to report a work comp injury to us within 48 hours, or some even say within 24 hours. And most insurance companies want that to happen too. They want everybody to report every injury as soon as you get hurt. As soon as you realize, oh, this isn't going away right now, not just tomorrow or the next day, but within 15, 20 minutes, I'm still hurting. We need to at least fill out the paperwork. So both the employer and the insurance company want that to happen. You need to go ahead and do that to cover yourself rather than wait and maybe risk your benefits and have your claim get denied. So some people say, I'll just go see my own doctor or even a chiropractor first and see, a couple days later. The problem with that is in Missouri, the work comp insurance company, the employer gets to choose the doctor. It's actually the employer gets to choose the doctor they send you to, not even the workers' comp insurance company. So if your employer wanted to overrule the insurance company, they absolutely have that right. They get to choose the doctors they send you to. You have a right to go on your own and get a second opinion, of course, maybe under health insurance or out of pocket. But if you want work comp to cover it, you got to turn it in and ask for medical treatment under work comp because they get to choose the doctor. So let's see. Next myth, we touched on this, is that some people think, people that file work comp, it's just an excuse to get out of work. And I know a guy, and he was faking it, or he was just lazy. Summit Pharmacy found that over 37% of people surveyed think that people that file for work comp is just an excuse to get out of work. And we really need to end that stigma because most of the time that's not true. Study after study show that year after year, the amount of workers' compensation fraud, the vast majority of that, 90-something%, is perpetrated by the employers or the insurance companies, not injured workers. So the fraud that happens in work comp, most of it happens on the other side. And that's people employers or insurance companies trying to game the system or get out of paying the benefits or paying into the system that good employers do. So you have a right to workers' compensation. You've earned that right just by being employed. Good employers know that. Good employers want their employees back to work. And the best way to do that is to file under work comp, turn it in, get checked out by their work comp doctors, get an MRI of the shoulder if you can barely lift your arm and can't sleep at night, get an MRI of your low back if you have shooting pain down one leg, so you can find out what's going on under workers' comp as quickly as possible, get the medical treatment you need as quickly as possible so you can get back to work. Another myth or big question, a lot of our clients call, will I get fired if I file a work comp claim or if I get a lawyer to help? Unfortunately, some employers, usually bigger ones, have a bad reputation for getting rid of people or making up excuses to try to get rid of people that get hurt at work. I will tell you that Missouri law protects you if you get hurt at work. It is absolutely illegal against the law for them to retaliate against you or fire you because you got hurt at work or because you get a lawyer to help you with your claim. So a lot of times we'll write a letter to the employer and say, hey, this isn't a lawsuit. We're just helping Scott Wilson out with his work comp claim with the insurance company to make sure that you both get all the benefits that you're supposed to get for your work comp premiums that you pay every month. So the law, usually that helps and it smooths things over and lets the employer know that nobody's trying to sue them, nobody's trying to go after them and, above and beyond their work comp premiums, work comp insurance. So that's something you don't need to be worried about. Another myth, the biggest myth I think in work comp as far as attorneys go, is people think I can't afford to hire a lawyer. Times are tough, especially if I'm off work under work comp. I don't have money to go hire a lawyer. Or lawyers will only take, lawyers are going to take a third of my settlement at the end, or they're just going to take even more, 40% of my settlement at the end. Neither one of those are true. So when you ask a lawyer to help, we don't charge you upfront any retainer. We don't bill you by the hour, send you a bill every month to pay. And workers' comp in Missouri, attorney's fees are capped at 25% of the settlement at the end. So we don't get paid anything during your claim until we win and get it settled at the end, or go to hearing in front of a work comp judge and get an award for X amount. And then the attorney's fees come off at the top, 25%. So people think, well, still, is it worth it for me to get a lawyer? Do I really need a lawyer? People hear that's the settlement set by law, and that's not true. Or they say there's a chart. I heard there's a chart that you go by. And here's this chart. So this, I've shown it before. It's on our website, which is thehwlawfirm.com. This is Missouri's work comp law boiled down to a chart, which is kind of disturbing when you first see it, because it's got, different body parts literally with numbers on them. And so the way you get to a settlement amount is these numbers represent what they call a number of weeks of, quote, permanent partial disability, which is a weird term to describe it, and describe it in weeks. But basically in Missouri, you do not get any kind of settlement for just pain and suffering that you've had during the injury. In Missouri, the work comp settlement at the end is based on what they call a percentage of permanent partial disability to that body part. So if you look at this chart, let's say you hurt your knee, there's a 160 number on your knee. So at the end of your claim, once you get through your medical treatment, let's say you had knee surgery, you had a torn meniscus or ACL from a work comp injury, and work comp did what they're supposed to, were real nice and sent you to the doctor and took you off work and got the MRI, which showed the tear, got you to an orthopedic surgeon. They said, yes, you do need surgery, got the knee surgery, paid for physical therapy, paid you your work comp checks while you were off work. And then it comes time to settlement once the doctor says, hey, you don't need to come back, you're as good as you're going to get, almost as good as new, and releases you back to full duty work. Don't need to come back to see me. So that's a work comp term called, quote, maximum medical improvement, end quote. So as soon as the doctor scribbles MMI on their release date, on their release sheet, as soon as the work comp insurance company sees that, they cut you off. The only last thing they're talking about is a settlement based on Missouri's work comp law. So this 160 weeks is the total maximum number that a knee would be worth, an injury to a knee. That would be 100% of your knee, which is crazy, never happens. So partial disability means, yeah, it's not as perfect, but let's estimate what that partial disability is permanent is going to be. So their doctor, even the surgeon, might say, I did a great job in the surgery, I think 5%. Really not going to have any problems. Very minor, maybe, So 5% partial disability. So you look at that chart, that 160 weeks times 5% is what? Well, 10% would be 16 weeks. So 5% is only 8 weeks. Okay, well, how do you get to dollar amount? Then you multiply that 8 weeks times the work comp weekly rate, which is usually around $400 to $500. So let's say it was a maximum capped at a maximum under Missouri law of $500. 8 weeks times $500, 8 times 5 is 40, so $4,000. And they send you a few weeks later or a month later, maybe a few days later, you get a copy of this chart with 160 weeks circled times 5% equals 40 equals $4,000 times $500. So people say, well, that's all it's worth. That's what the work comp law says. That letter explained it, and I went on the Missouri Department of Labor Industrial Relations website, and that says it too. So how can a lawyer do me any better good? So what we can do is get an independent medical evaluation of what kind of partial disability you're going to have to that knee from a doctor that's not paid by the work comp insurance company, or a doctor that didn't do the surgery himself or herself. So we send you to our doctor, and he or she says, no, it is a more serious than just a tear that's fixed. It's never going to be perfect, never going to be normal. It's probably going to get worse as you get older and more active on it at work. So our doctor's rating, partial disability rating, is going to be a heck of a lot higher usually than just the employer insurance company's doctor's rating. And then we're able to fight for you to get a settlement that you deserve, or take it to a hearing in front of a work comp judge that we deal with all the time, who knows what the claims should be worth, not just based on the initial rating from their doctor. We call that an independent medical exam, or an IME, and we can help with that. Generally, your own doctor won't be willing to do that. Your own primary care doctors, or even an orthopedic doctor, isn't going to be willing to give you the type of report necessary to get that settlement, either settlement or admitted into evidence at a hearing. So even after the 25% attorney's fees, any advanced expenses in the claim, most of our clients are substantially better off than anything that the work comp insurance company would have offered them based on their doctor's rating, or offered them without an attorney. And sometimes it's not even close. Sometimes it's not twice as much. Sometimes it's 5 times as much. Every claim is different, which I need to backtrack. Everybody says, I got a buddy at work and he hurt his shoulder and he got $40,000. Well, maybe. And some cases are worth that. Some are worth more than that. A lot of them aren't worth that. And every case is different. And a lot of cases are going to be decided not just by this partial disability rating, but what they count as your work comp rate matters, whether they paid you the right amount while you were off work the whole time. Oftentimes we get in a claim and do the right math under the law and figure out that, hey, they weren't paying you the full 66 2/3% that you average without taxes being taken out. And you don't take taxes out of work comp, and you won't owe taxes from your work comp checks. Those weekly checks will go straight to you. The attorneys don't take anything from those weekly checks. Those go straight to you. Oftentimes we find out, they underpaid you by $120 a week, and you were off for 4 months after surgery. So that adds up. Or there are unpaid medical bills that they didn't pay for some reason. They didn't pay you mileage to and from the doctor, particularly when they're sending you to their doctors in St. Louis or Kansas City or Overland Park, Kansas. So there's a lot of things that go into a settlement, and every case is different. That's where we come in. Years and years and years, decades. I'm graying at the temples here. 23 years in practice, and that's all I've done is serious injury claims, personal injury and car accidents, and workers' comp. So this is our traffic tickets. We spend all of our time helping people that are injured fight for the settlements they need. You can talk to us for free. We're not gonna, it's confidential. You can talk to us. Your employer, insurance company is not gonna know you talk. Go to our website, thehwlawfirm.com. We've got online chat, confidential. You can chat with us online, ask us questions, give us a call, 573-443-4500. Email links on the website. Any questions you have, give us a call. I'd much rather answer your questions as you go and not have you risk losing your job or risk losing your... I promise you, if I don't think we can do you any good, I will tell you, you know what? I don't think you need to hire an attorney. Here's what I think you should do next. I'm going to leave it at that today. Hope everyone's doing well, staying safe. Continue to wear your masks. Hope everyone can get vaccinated as soon as possible. And we'll do another one of these live chats here probably next month, if not a few weeks.